Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. I'm your host, Hype Man. Today I'm going to have Ryan Murray on the show. Ryan is like the CEO of Ravenist and JustNFTs, and so we're going to have a lot to discuss. Thanks so much for joining me, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when did you first get into Ravencoin in general?
Let's see. So I've been into Ravencoin. So we started the marketplace in April of 21, and then I was doing the Zaytech auctions before that. So a little bit over, probably about a year and a half now. I've been in Ravencoin.
Nice. And so do you mine Ravencoin?
I do.
Does
I
that
have
have,
a
go ahead.
I have a 6-card rig. Nothing special. I don't make enough in my mining to go buy like 3080s and stuff. So I just have a couple 580s. So 6 580s, and then I've got a 1080 running, my 3070 on my gaming computer when I'm not playing games, and then a couple of random like 1050s. Nothing crazy.
And did you get into Ravencoin because of mining?
No, ironically enough, I got into Ravencoin because of Khalid. We did the Zaytech auctions for my day job. And then I started really getting interested in Ravencoin and kind of was researching it more. And then I started getting into mining, super lightweight mining, like, just my graphics card running from my computer. And then I was like, okay, let me look into building a rig. So I did that. And then I started thinking like, okay, well, if I'm going to go like this crazy, I might as well invest. So put some money into Ravencoin. And then I just like, it kind of snowballed. It was just like at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm super hyped. I'm all in on this. Let's start figuring out what's next. And then now here we sit.
That's kind of crazy how it snowballs like that too.
Yeah.
So I guess we can kind of walk everybody through like the timeline, like you were talking about. Just NFTs was the first marketplace that you guys founded, right? So let's kind of walk me through, the initial startup of starting Just NFTs and kind of how that went and how you felt kind of doing that.
Yeah. So we like I said, we're doing the Zaytech auctions on Bravelands. And that was super popular. Everybody was enjoying that, but then they kind of died down, and I'm not 100% sure why they died down, but we had like maybe a 2.5, 3 month lull from, really nothing going on in Ravencoin at that point. So I was like, there's no marketplace. Like, I think Ricky was definitely around at the time with his like minting and kind of his, website marketplace thing, but there was no direct like eBay type marketplace that was connecting buyers and sellers. So I was sitting there, I'm like, well, let me make something. Like, I've got decent, experience in web design and networking and all of that stuff. So I spun up a WordPress server and I was like, let's see what we can make. There's obviously nothing out here that's a direct one-to-one, right? So started building and tweaking and had something that was pretty good in the beginning. Definitely very basic, right? There wasn't a lot of like craziness, especially with like what you can get from Ravenist. We just kind of built it, or I kind of built it, and then it started working. And our first adopter was actually Synth. He was our very first NFT artist on there, and he was like really the only one for a handful of months. And then probably about 5 or 6 more people kept showing up, and from the April to maybe August-ish. Then we did kind of like a soft launch where we started getting like more aggressive on Twitter. And then September 1st, we launched officially, announced that we were incorporating and that we were going to have the Just NFTs marketplace. And from there, it's just gotten, tremendous support from the community.
It's been crazy. I think I bought my first NFT in April from Ricky's marketplace, and then I remember just NFTs coming up, and I think I bought different things from Synth, and it's crazy to hear that he sat on there for so long like that.
Yeah.
But it just kind of goes to show, even being a user and buying NFTs at the time, like you said, it was just kind of hard to know about. But I think a lot of people know about both Just NFTs and Ravenous now. So talk about maybe the acquisition of Ravenous and how that went down and the timing of that. I'm not sure exactly when that happened. So when did that happen?
Yeah, so that, I'm trying to remember when he So he'd been working on it. So the original developer had been working on it for about the same amount of time that I've had JustNFTs marketplace up and running, about 6 months or so, I think, at that time. But just really hadn't announced anything, was just kind of working on it. And then he reached out to us and said, "Hey, I really like," because again, like there was Ricky. I think, I don't know if Ravensea was out yet. I think Block Dog had his marketplace going,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure Mellery was around at the time. And then Asset Marketplace launched shortly after us. So there's about 5 or so marketplaces, but we've, not to sound like overly cocky or anything, right? But we've kind of led the charge on the marketplaces, right? Mellery's good, you know, Ricky was good for his minting stuff, but like as far as just like a straight eBay style like marketplace, we've kind of led the charge on that. So he came to us and presented the idea of kind of like teaming up. And we were kind of hesitant at first because we didn't really know a lot about the developer. And, we started talking more and more, and we realized that, it'd be a good idea. So we came on board as like advisors for the technical side, or I'm sorry, for the support side of it. And we just, we kind of killed it in the sense. And we're like, "Hey, so would you be interested in maybe selling it to us?" And he's like, we did some negotiating and we bought it. And he's since left and started Ravement, which is, another niche item and super cool that people are enjoying. And I know he's got some plans for other things that he's doing. I don't know if he's announced them yet, but I think he's got a really cool vision for Ravencoin. And I think if he continues developing and building products for Ravencoin, I think the markets are going to be really, or I should say the opportunities are going to be really cool.
I agree. I think he's probably one of the best developers as far as actually giving us products that almost everybody is using.
Yeah.
At least that are into NFTs. And that's it's the interesting thing. Like I talked to someone today who has been mining for 2 years, and they didn't understand like how the NFTs work and how like ICOs work, and how there's so many layers to Ravencoin. So people just think it's Ravencoin, but it's a platform really. And you guys are making a platform on top of a platform, and that's really where it's going to become more user friendly and becoming more mainstream, I think. So I think we can transition into, you had some really big news today. So if you want to go ahead and talk about that and talk about it in detail, then, be my guest.
Yeah, sure. So the big news, of course, is that it's my birthday, right?
Yes, sir. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks. No, so we launched an ICO today. It's not a super, like the super cool one that everybody wants, right? Like everybody would love to just be able to go to ravenist.com or whatever, Binance, Coinbase, to just buy the token. I'd love for that, but we're a little bit off from that. It's coming eventually, hopefully, if needed. A general ICO, right? Or a general release of the token. But right now it's a more strict one, right? Because there's a lot of legalities and regulations and SEC guidelines and stuff that you have to follow. Like ultimately, like at the end of the day, yes, I want to provide a marketplace and ease of use, and I'd love to just do everything for the community, right? Like whatever they want. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of legal aspects of it, and if we don't follow those the best we can and in the proper ways, we could make it 10 years down the road and or 5 weeks down the road, and somebody realized that we didn't cross an I or dot a T, and then everything that we've worked for and provided goes to waste, right? Like nobody gets to use that anymore. So there's some stipulations to it. It's a Reg D with an exemption. So we're going for accredited investors that want to be involved with it and in hopes to eventually branch it into something better later.
I think it's a good way to go. Like you said, you have to be following the legal footsteps of the foundation that the SEC provides, whether you're using any sort of coin to do that, whether it's Ravencoin or not. So I'm glad as a consumer that you are going to do it the legal way and you're making the right steps. And, the people that want to invest will potentially have a great opportunity. Maybe Ravencoin is a huge NFT marketplace, and both of your marketplaces and the services you provide will be huge. So I think we could kind of talk about the roadmap of where you see both just NFTs and Ravenist and the services that they're both going to kind of provide to the community. And if you want to share your screen at some point during, talking about it, then, certainly you can do that.
Yeah, sure. Give me one sec. Cool.
Yeah.
See it?
Great. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So here's the white paper. I'm not going to talk about it in too much detail because it is available. It's on the blockchain. It's on our website, JustNFTs.io/ICO. But I think I've seen a little bit on Twitter today. It seems it's trending pretty well, right? Like everybody's super excited. A couple of people have reached out so far, which is awesome. I think the main concern for a lot of people is, I've seen a couple things about ICOs are usually scams, which obviously I'm having a real conversation with you. I've got a pretty good reputation in the community, I think, so we're not trying to scam anybody. I don't think that was really a concern for most. And then I think the other concerns were more about the accreditation part, as far as the steps for that. If you want to reach out to us, we're willing to help kind of explain it. And I think the other concern was more or less, can't remember what it was, but it's not as scary as everybody's thinking, right? Like there's a process, but it's not the end of the world. But the important part is it is definitely a process, right? It's a legal process. But as far as the Ravenist features, we're looking at hopefully getting an iOS and Android app out there to kind of make it a little bit easier to use the website. There is a possibility for a non-custodial integration, which is super exciting because I know a lot of people have kind of this issue with it. So we're looking into that. There might be a possibility for that. We want to be able to provide seller metrics, right? Like JustNFT is great for that. When you log into the marketplace, some of the plugins that we have, working with it, you can, as a seller, see, all of the information there. You see what you've sold. You can customize the timeline. You can get like how much, Raven breakdown and stuff like that. So we want to be able to provide that on the seller side for Ravenist. It's great because you can see it as a consumer side, right? All the activity that happens, it's super transparent. We want to just be able to provide a little bit extra. I know people are asking for bulk features, so bulk upload, bulk withdraw, that kind of stuff. That's hopefully coming soon. Some communications as far as like a messaging system that will hopefully come soon. Status notifications, so when you get outbid on something or a newly listed item, things like that. Seller subscriptions, you can get that with JustNFTs already. You can kind of subscribe or follow your favorite artist, and when they're going to release, or they just release something, you get an email notification. And just kind of really what the community wants. We'd love to hear what you guys have, what you want as far as features go, and hopefully we can provide them. JustNFTs, not really a whole lot of features because it kind of does what it needs to do already, but providing sales data tracking as far as like Ravenist does would be great. Better loyalty and rewards programs and referral programs would be awesome to provide. And then hopefully some sort of wallet integration to where it kind of works like Mellery, where you put your address in and it shoots you the NFT and shoots the money to the seller.
Very cool.
And that's kind of the features for at least for now.
Yeah. Can you scroll back up to the other Ravenous features real quick? Yeah, thank you. I was going to ask, do you think, I saw that Raven added an offer function on something. Do you think you guys could be able to add some sort of offer function or something of that sort? I mean, it kind of already does everything. Like if you're trying to sell something, you can sell it, but.
Yeah. I think I got it right
here.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I totally missed
it's
it.
okay. I totally breezed over it. Like I went from bulk functions to messaging and completely breezed over. But yeah, that's definitely something that people are wanting is the ability the ability to offer out on an item that may or may not be available. If we can make it happen, great.
Sweet.
we're good.
I was just said sweet, like that.
Oh,
That's perfect. I mean, that's really cool, and I can't believe I missed it the first time. So I am glad that. Well, I just asked a funny question, it just happened to be on there. So
yeah,
sweet.
and if at worst case scenario, we can't make it happen as fast as we want, or as quickly as everybody wants, with the messaging system that we're trying to hopefully go towards. Worst case, you can always shoot a DM, through the site, hopefully to that person, and just be like, hey, I want to buy that, and that should work too.
Very cool. That's a great idea as well.
I think that's it for features.
Perfect. So what would you say are exactly the differences between Ravenist and just NFTs?
Well, I would say the main difference is just NFTs is mostly non-custodial, right? Like the system itself is non-custodial. Um, we do offer some sort of like custodial services as far as clearinghouse goes. So we'll mint NFTs directly for people, kind of like how Ricky did or does. And we'll directly communicate the buys and sells to everybody, so the artist can really just focus on creating their art and uploading it through our forum, and then we just kind of list it for them under their name. Ravenist is a custodial wallet, right? We maintain ownership of the NFTs, or control of the NFTs and the funds. And then you just kind of buy and sell as you see fit, and then when you're ready to withdraw it, you just let us know through the website and we send it to you. That's the biggest differences between the two. Some of the other differences would be that Ravenist provides a super, I mean, we're transparent in general, right? But Ravenist provides the easy, super transparent network through the activity page, right? And through the NFT pages themselves, you'll see when it was bought, when it was sold, for how much, from who to who. Provides all that information. Just NFTs doesn't, which is unfortunate, because I know people really, really wanted that from the get-go, which is why we bought Ravenist. And then we just kind of haven't gone back and put it on there yet, because it's a very complicated thing to do, as far as showing those metrics. So hopefully that's something that comes to the to JustNFTs marketplace.
And so, talking about Ravenist being a custodial wallet like that, can you explain like how the minting function kind of, and how that would work as an artist using Ravenist to sell their NFTs?
Yeah, so if you're using Ravenist, you'll log on or create an account if you don't have one already. And then, if you don't have an asset name already, you can click the create function, once you've purchased your Ravenous tokens and deposited your Ravencoin, right? You'll create you'll click the create function, and, you just basically put your information in, and it sends it to us in a forum. And, on the back end, we mint the asset for you, right? So it'll be, for example, if you wanted something, and you were going by the username Hype Man, right? And you put it in there, would mint it Ravenist, hashtag, for the unique asset, Hype Man _ your assets title name, right? So if it was this white paper, maybe Hype Man _ white paper, right? We try to make it pretty predictable and pretty easy to understand that the asset is Ravenous, which really honestly doesn't matter. It's more or less the identifying factor of Hype Man is the user, or the artist or the creator, and then their _ title, right? So that's how we would mint for a user. And then there's the create function, the deposit function, which is majority of what people use, right? So if you wanted to upload one of your degens, you deposit it, put the information, the chain asset, and all that stuff. It just gets listed on the website.
Very cool. So I guess you can eventually make it super easy on the artists that don't want to be involved, or you can make it where if you want to learn Ravencoin and mint it yourself and deposit it, you can do it kind of both ways.
Yeah, we want to be super flexible. We don't want to, force anybody to have to use the Ravenist sub asset name, and we don't want to have to force a barrier to entry for people that don't fully understand Ravencoin, right? Our goal has always been creating ease of use.
Very cool. It really sounds, just talking to you as a community member, it sounds like you just want to give the community what they want. and you're trying to make it easy on everybody, which you know, as a marketplace owner, it sounds smart, right? So
Yeah.
it's reassuring to hear, and obviously it's great to have the conversation. Is there anything more you want to discuss about the white paper while you have it up?
I don't know. I mean, you're a little bit more into the social media aspect of Twitter than I am. I've been super busy. So is there anything that you've noticed that people are concerned about that I can address?
But I don't think there's anything, you know, that I'm concerned about personally at all. You know, I think you guys have been very reputable from the beginning. I think it's an interesting process. I think it's great that you're trying to, you know, use Ravencoin. You're trying to put your money where your mouth is and get investors to put their money where, you know, their mouth is, behind Ravencoin. So
Right.
I think there's a lot of value in what you're providing. I think people just need to go out and seek it like this, just exactly what you're doing. So I think there's going to be people that step up and support you in the community, and I think we can get a lot of buzz about it too. But I don't think there's too many concerns. I think if you want to discuss like the structure of it, or how it works, or, you know, anything like that's to maybe make people understand how they could invest more, if that's something that you want to take this time to do, you certainly can.
Um,
If you'd
I
rather
don't,
just talk about the marketplaces, we can do that too.
yeah, I'm really bad at this interview stuff, right? So I don't know how to really like overly explain myself or like boast myself. So I'll leave it up to the community. They know, everybody knows how to get a hold of me, right? Like Discord and email. So I mean, you can DM me on Twitter, but you're gonna be waiting a minute because I really am bad at that. But if you guys got questions, just ask me, you know, and I'll answer them the best I can and provide the information, right? We're not trying to hide anything from anybody. We're not trying to do anything shady or anything like that. We just, like you said, we wanna provide cool things for the Ravencoin community to be behind and want to use. And I mean, at the end of the day, it costs money to do that, right? And you know, it might sound like a cop out, right? Like it costs money, it costs money, it costs money, but it's like it really does. You know, I don't have 100% the skill set that some of these other like, you know, developers in the community have. And you know, if they want to build a product, then they're more than welcome to, and I'm sure the community will support them and everything. Um, but it's like I gotta use the skills that I have, and you know, reaching out to developers and creating a product is what I can do. And unfortunately, it costs money, you know, and we'll get there eventually, right? You know, we'll continue building the features, and we'll continue growing and building Ravencoin. And I think if you know, everybody continues being super happy and excited about Ravencoin, it's gonna be something super prosperous. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, we'll all hopefully move.
Yeah. Well, cool. Like you said, you guys can check out the white paper. It's on the JustNFTs IO website, slash ICO there, and you can check it out and read it. If you have any questions, you know, you can contact Ryan Murray on Twitter, or you can contact, I'm sure, JustNFTs directly on Twitter as well.
Yep.
Cool. If you want to stop sharing your screen, that way we'll go back to our beautiful faces. So we're going to really kind of discuss, you know, what are your thoughts, you know, on the current tools that are being created on Ravencoin right now, as a marketplace owner?
Sure. Anything specifically?
Well, is there anything that you're excited about, or anything that you think is starting to change the game as far as like Ravencoin NFTs, for either for artists or for buyers, or anything like that you see?
Let's see. So obviously we all know about Raven. I think that's pretty cool. I think I know people have wanted that pretty much since honestly, I think since TJ, right? The DJ and Smokers, I think was really the first like generative art that showed up on Ravencoin. There might have been a couple others. I think Royal Bears was probably around at the same time. Maybe Cat Bits had come out, I think, at that time. It was really only a few. And I think Raven Mint fits a really good niche as far as the generative arts goes. And it works. It's cool. I think that's awesome. I think there's a handful of marketplaces and you know, people that are trying to build out features to make, you know, unique things, right? That to fit certain niches that are kind of necessary, right? I think Mango's killing it with their wallet. It's I personally use it for a lot of things. Not necessarily my end all be all wallet, right? Like I'd rather that be kind of like off the network, if you will. But I think their ice wallet is super awesome. Their cold storage wallet, that's gonna just kill it. Like that's gonna be huge. Ravencoin IPFS is good. Specifically for Raven. Somebody was talking in a Twitter space, I think yesterday or today earlier, about how there's not a lot of directly specific IPFSs for Raven, right? Like we use Infuro, we use Pinata, we use Ravencoin IPFS too, but there's not a lot of IPFSs out there specifically for Raven. So it'd be cool if we could see like one or two more of those pop up. That would be awesome. I think Mellory's got a good marketplace. I think they're working with Ravenmint to kind of incorporate Ravenmint a little bit better. We're gonna hopefully do that in the future. It's just like Ravencoin itself, there's just a lot of cool people working on cool projects. There's a peer-to-peer network, and I'm really bad with the name. I think it's Raven.
WX Raven.
Yeah, WX Raven. That's super awesome. I think it's unique. And then there's a whole bunch of people working with Atomic. And I think if everybody just keeps their passion, eventually we'll get to the point of there will be a mass adoption of Ravencoin. And then the real world applications will just be limitless at that point. I know the Jenkins are working on, better tokenizing real estate and kind of bringing that to the market. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think the overall adoption will be huge when it really happens. Just like that person I was talking about earlier, they didn't know about it. I talked to them, they're like, "That's amazing," and then your mind just starts wondering, like you guys are using it to ICO and offer coins, and which is great. So there's so many different use cases, and I think not only that, like you said, we're just talking about the people that are developing in all these different ways. It's really endless. I've seen so much growth lately.
Yeah.
And so we're trying, go ahead.
I was just going to touch on it. Like, it really is endless. Like, I went through a fat list, and there's still like, as you're talking, like 5 or 6 more people that I'm thinking about. Like, I think, Unwoke Funding is a good one too. Like they're bringing, adoption of Ravencoin to like film students that are seeking funding for, their filmography, I think is what it is. Their thesis, right? Their film thing to become a film person. Sorry guys, I'm really not
you
sure.
Have a way with words, Ryan. I'll
yeah,
tell you
I got a horrible way with words. And then there's a guy that's getting ready to start like getting music involved with tokenizing, with Ravencoin. So there's so many possibilities. It's great.
Well, it's crazy. And so all we're talking about is, basically at the end of the day, the question I want to ask you are, what are some of the restrictions that Ravencoin gives you as a marketplace owner? Are there any?
Yeah, there can be. There's a real fine line as far as like controlling of assets and how that's taken care of. Depending on what you're doing, you could technically be considered as a money business service and require like money transfer licensing. That's a barrier to entry if you want to become like an exchange, right? Like Secor. As far as just a normal day to day, there's not really a lot of restrictions. It just really depends on how you build your product out, and that kind of limits or creates your restrictions, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's a great way to answer that. And it's just totally, I was curious, and that's why I wanted to ask that. So, I think everybody has a very long-term vision. At least I have a very long-term vision on Ravencoin. As a miner, I still think there's a lot of coins coming to the market. I had the thought today while I was driving in my car that if Ravencoin was a physical asset that you could grab the last 4 years of our life before January, you could go grab it pretty easily. Now, These next 4 years, it's still pretty easy to grab. And even the next 4 years after that, it's still going to be kind of easy to grab. And so I have really like a 8 more years from now timeline of Ravencoin's going to not be easy to grab anymore.
Yeah, it's going to essentially be Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, and so that that mechanism is going to be huge itself too. And it's going to, you know, just like the people say you can't stop Bitcoin, in theory, you can't stop Ravencoin unless all the miners leave. And I mean, I'm not going anywhere. So I think people are just going to continue to build on top of this platform that is, you know, basically perfect for NFTs or for tokenizing or, you know, anything like that. So what's your long-term vision for, you know, your businesses basically, and for Ravencoin NFTs?
Long-term vision, huh? Honestly, it's still the same as the short-term vision, right? It's to provide cool tools and use cases for real-world applications, right? And in any way we can facilitate. So right now it's a marketplace. You know, next week might be Ravenmint, right? It might be, you know, the week after that, you know, a better IPFS. Not saying that that's what we need currently, but you know, just being able to provide the tools that the community thinks is what we need, and being able to continue innovating and adding new applications for Ravencoin, you know, really making it something that people want to use as a thing, right? Like just reaching out to the small business market would be great. You know, being able to use, you know, Ravencoin as an actual currency in small business applications would be awesome, right? Because Bitcoin's great. It's like gold though. It's great for long-term investment and hiding your money, right? But the transaction speeds are super slow on the network. So Ravencoin is fast, and if you could, you know, buy a hot dog or buy a piece of pizza and not have to wait 25 minutes for your currency to clear before you can actually get your food, that would be great.
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge in the level of adoption if people really figure it out. I think the thing that I want to touch on is, you know, just NFTs being a service provider. You know, it sounds like you guys want to provide different services depending on what the community needs. You know, are there any services that are not available right now that you guys are thinking about making, or that are going to be coming ahead?
There's a couple things in the works that we'd hope to be able to provide. I've been talking to, I don't know how open we want to be about it yet, because it's not really anything set in stone. But I've been talking to a couple people about maybe a vaulting process, right? There's a lot of people that are interested in storing their NFTs somewhere, you know, the physical aspects of it, and kind of storing them, and then maybe you know, leading to a shipping you know, aspect of it. So we kind of offer that already, but nobody really knows about it because it's so like new and not really needed yet. So I think that might be something cool later on down the road. There is some people that are starting to do crowdfunding systems, so that's something kind of cool that I think would be awesome to use Ravencoin for. I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head that we really need yet. There's probably a lot, but I'm not really the best to ask for that. I think the community really is.
So the thing I think I'm interested in talking about right now with you is the onboarding process. I think the biggest thing we have is onboarding both, you know, artists, maybe buyers, and just getting people to see and understand Ravencoin and kind of how to use it. I think that's our, I mean, people are seeing it every day and it's becoming more and more of a thing, but I think that's our biggest, our process. And I had somebody like, I was walking through them how to deposit on Ravenist, and they were confused about different things, and they didn't understand like what their NFT asset was, you know, and like
Yep.
I sent them the link and I was like, it's the brown letters right there, and somehow they like still didn't see it, and I was like, it's, and then they did, and like once you know, it's not hard. But I think I don't know, I'm trying to think about like a service that I could provide or something I could help start, where I just kind of like Ricky did for, you know, RVNFT, is bringing people in and minting for them and stuff like that. Like if that's what I need to do, if that's what the community needs the most, is people, you know, onboarding artists particularly. I just want to help however I can. Obviously, me making this content helps too, but that is, I think, something that's just going to drive these people that have the possibility to show their art to a global market, right? They could be in some tiny town, but they could be amazing at digital art and or physical art, or really kind of any kind of art. It just really depends on how you want to put it on the blockchain, obviously, and how you want to sell it and what you're selling. So, but I think people from all walks of life will have a great opportunity once they understand how to use this technology.
Yeah, there's definitely a barrier to entry with it, right? Like Mango makes it pretty easy with their wallet to mint and use Ravencoin, right? Because you don't have to download a wallet, you don't have to wait for the blockchain to sync. It's pretty big, obvious, click here, click there, press this button. Like they make a really good product as far as ease of use goes. But I think there's just not enough people coming into the space that, one, know about Mango itself, and two, know how to did NFTs even exist. Because I think we were talking before we started recording about how there's so many layers to Ravencoin, and Chris and I were talking about this earlier, that there's so many people out there that are invested in Ravencoin, that aren't even in the NFT market. And it's like, if we can start bringing more people to the NFT market, that would help with sales in general and resales. If we can bring more people to Ravencoin, I think two of our big problems is there's not really a lot of marketing for Ravencoin anymore. I think we used to have some sort of marketing team that was on the primary Ravencoin Discord that's kind of disappeared at this point. And there's a big barrier to entry as far as not having an influencer that is external of us, right? Like there's a handful of influencers in the community, but it's, their community and their followers are Ravencoin people, right? So I don't need to sell Ravencoin to Ravencoin users, right? We need to sell Ravencoin to people that aren't using it. And if we could find some level of influencer that would be interested in, promoting Ravencoin, or was passionate about Ravencoin, and get them to start promoting it, would be great.
Is there anything you guys are doing as marketplaces to promote across chain, or to try to get users to come to Ravencoin?
Not currently, just because we're so minimal staffed, right? And funding does kind of present an issue, right? I'd love to, if we can get some decent level of funding from the help with, some of the, start working with the marketing company to get the Ravenist and the Ravencoin brands out there, and the JustNFTs brands out there, and start bringing a lot more people to Ravencoin in general. At that point, maybe we can, hire a couple people to just really I don't want to say bug in a bad way, but like bug some influencers and just kind of start, getting to know them and sending them some free Ravencoin stuff, and, get them to start being like, hey, this is kind of cool. What is this? And start looking into it and get them passionate about it.
I'll bug people right now for free. Just tell me who you want me to bug. I'll start sending them. I'll Twitter them all day, bro. I don't care. I've just been at Ravencoin on different people lately, honestly. Know, if they say what's a good alt, what's something like that. I mean, anytime I can, and it's like, if they care enough, they're gonna click on at Ravencoin, they're gonna go read the white paper, they'll educate themselves. But that's the thing, man. It's like, I think people read the white paper and they still don't understand everything that Ravencoin can do. So
yeah,
maybe a website or something like that. That's, I mean, Morgan's doing what'supraven.com, which is going to have a lot of events and stuff. But I think on top of that, or maybe affiliated with that or something, we should try to do some sort of thing about, like, this is every single thing about Ravencoin.
Yeah.
Like, this is all the layers that we can do. I'm sure there's maybe like marketing content that's there, but if we can get like a centralized place to maybe help market people just knowing how to do everything. And like you said, there's people all the time that understand, that are in the community, that hold Ravencoin, but aren't, savvy of NFTs and everything else that we're doing. So
yeah, and there's definitely a fair amount of people that have, Ravencoin, that are aware of NFTs, that just are not involved because they don't want to be, or maybe they just don't understand, or they don't care. But either way, like being able to provide something that gives, you know, in full detail, you know, information about Ravencoin would be awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think just kind of marketing ourselves, that's my goal, right? You know, at least making this content and everything like that is trying to push as much information to the public as we can. And maybe people will see different things and it'll spark their interest, just like it has ours, you know.
Yep. I mean, you
Uh,
got to start somewhere, right?
you do. I think a lot of people start mining, and I think that's a great barrier and a great thing about Ravencoin in general, and the fact that it's going to be very decentralized and very secure blockchain. Is there anything else that you want to mention about either one of your projects that you have going on?
No, I think they pretty much speak for themselves. Most people, you know, have their opinions about one versus their opinions about the other, and they use what works for them. You know, there's definitely people that use just NFTs that like the more decentralized aspect of it, and there's definitely people that use Ravenous for, you know, the sales data and the ease of use of it. So just you know, let us know what you guys want, and a lot of you already are on the Discord and everything, so just keep letting us know what you want and we'll keep trying to build what we can.
I think it's really cool, man. I'm really excited. I'm excited that you guys made a marketplace in the first place. I was excited when you guys acquired Ravenist. I'm excited that you've done an ICO. I mean, I think everything that you're doing is just doing the best that you know how to do, like you said, and trying to provide the best services to the community. And that's really what we need right now is people building on top of Ravencoin. So if
Yeah,
you're a developer and you want to help Ryan, tell him and maybe you guys work something out.
yeah,
I'm sure, you know, there's some incredible people that are already working on Ravencoin, and it's just all about connecting the right people and connecting the right thoughts. And some people know how to do some amazing things much better than
yeah.
me. So
Yeah,
um,
definitely better than me. Like I definitely wouldn't have been able to create Ravenist on my own. Power to, you know, the developer that made it. You know, he's this really cool, smart dude. He's definitely down to earth. You know, I feel for him right now because he's kind of over in that, you know, conflict over there because he's from Turkey. So, you know, keep him in your thoughts that everything's good for him over there. And um, yeah,
for sure. Well, it's been great to, you know, kind of talk to you about your projects. It's cool to hear your passion about Ravencoin and about, you know, the services that you're providing. So I think, you know, people are gonna understand what how they can use both services, I guess, after watching this. And you know, if you guys want to know more about Ravencoin or getting on, you know, your work on Ravenist or on just NFTs, you know, reach out to Ryan. If you need any help with Ravencoin in general, obviously you can reach out to me and I'll be glad to help you however I can. I'm not looking to make any money. I'm just looking to help onboard people because that's what it's all about, is getting more
yep,
people to have skin in the game and to get into Ravencoin. So, you know,
yeah,
don't be
definitely.
shy. You know, Ryan and I talk all the time. And any final thoughts you have?
Um, no, I think I'm good. Thanks for having me on. You know, thanks for letting me be a part of your YouTube channel and the content and helping grow Raven. I think it's going to be, I mean, today is going to be a historic moment. You know, I think we have plenty that have happened already, and I think we're going to have many, many more. Um, yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited. Hopefully, in the next, you know, couple weeks to a month, we can start really pumping out some features for Ravenist and really getting the community some awesome, you know, products.
Well, I think I'm going to try to do my best to help, you know, try to promote you guys myself and, you know, just try to get the word out and get more people to see it, because I think, like you said, right now they're kind of the leading marketplaces, and the more I can help get more eyes on Ravencoin, and that's my goal. So I'll be sure to help there where I can. And I'm really looking forward to maybe giving an update here, you know, into the year or beginning of next year sometime, and kind of reflect on this video and see where we're at. So thanks so much
Yeah,
for, you know, spending the time talking to me about, you know, what you're doing and what you're building on Ravencoin. And yeah, thanks for your time.
yeah, no problem. I'm here for everybody. I mean, that's why I do what I do, right? It's not work if you're passionate about it and you enjoy it. And you know, there's people. It's a 24-hour market, right? So there's people that hit me up at 3 o'clock in the morning my time, and I'm just like, all right, what's up? You know, I'm here for you guys, and my whole team is here for you, right? We just want Ravencoin to thrive and succeed.
Yeah, I think you guys customer service is next level. I'll be, the one to say, I've DM'd you multiple times. Hey, I noticed this, or hey, this happened, and and you get it straightened out right away,
Yep.
and so you're you have a lot of integrity, and I think that's something to be proud of. You say what you're gonna do, and yeah, you do what you're gonna say. So
Yep. I mean,
yeah.
that's how I was raised. Put my money where my mouth is.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing where your projects go, and this 2022 for Ravencoin and for the Ravenist and for just NFTs. But thanks so much for your time, and have a great birthday, man.
Yeah, thanks. No problem.
All right, have a good night.
All right. Bye.
Bye.